Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Could China run out of gold to mine? Let's explore! Most are aware that China is the world's largest gold producer, but there's a lot of mystery behind some of the data that comes from China. So one wonders exactly how much gold they have to mine. But there is a report that's been released, the preliminary data that comes from the US Geological Survey, according to this article here on Kitco, that China is burning through its gold reserves the fastest of any other nation on Earth. And if you look at the numbers from this preliminary report, global recoverable mine gold reserves in situ, which means on site, amounted to about 53,000 metric tons in 2020, which is 6% more than the 50,000 tons reported in 2019. Now, Australia has the largest endowment of these reserves at 10,000 tons. In other words, gold ready to be mined based off of studies, geological studies on the ground. And that's followed by Russia and then the USA. But if you look on this chart here, China is way down there with 2,000, according to this report. And so with that being said, China being the top producer with 380 tons of yellow metal mined in 2020, it makes you wonder about how quickly they're going through those reserves. China is facing a rapid depletion of its current estimated domestic gold mineral reserves. Reserves to production ratio that represents the, quote, burn rate of proven reserves of mineral commodities when applying current levels of domestic mine production shows that China is in the red zone for future supplies of the yellow metal. With gold being so important in the East, and especially in China, domestically, culturally, it is certainly is of concern. But again, these are estimates based off of what we are seeing from the USGS, and we know that they are mining gold obviously at an incredible rate and finding new discoveries there as well. And we hear about situations about mining when the news breaks into the mainstream, such as the mine accident that occurred, the gold mining accident, where I think 10 folks have died and they recovered 11. I covered that story on this channel. And that gives us a little bit of a peek into what's happening in China. But we look at this chart, we can see that China is burning through its mine gold reserves the fastest in the world. And so that burn rate ratio compared to years, we can see that China is certainly at the lowest with 5. And where does USA fall in this? Well, they are at 16 here, but they kind of goes up at a relatively smooth grade here. Trend line for all these other nations. South Africa is a very rich mining area with a lot there, and their burn rate is lower, but they do produce a lot of gold, and Australia is just above them in terms of the burn rate. So they have a lot, but they're also producing a lot of gold as well, these nations, South Africa and Australia. And so it is something to know that China is really producing all this gold, and how much longer can they do it before they run out of these proven reserves? And what are their geologists looking at and studying for exploration of new gold areas? China is a large nation by land area, but they're also the largest in population. So if you look at a satellite image of China in general, you will see clusters of little hamlets, villages, intermixed with the agricultural land that surrounds it for a great portion of the country in the east. In the west, obviously, there's other areas, but I don't know exactly what is out there in terms of exploration for that vast area, and that is something that still remains a mystery. So In a sense, this report gets accurate to a point, but until we send geologists on the ground that we can trust and we can see, we really don't know for sure, really, in a sense, what most other countries are, because China is not as transparent. But according to data that the U.S. Geological Survey has, it does appear that at the rate that they're going, China could run out of gold soon. But my guess is there's other information, and knowing the nature, the cloak that China holds over the world in terms of what it does and within its borders is something that we just don't know. It's fascinating indeed, and it does tell us one thing for sure concerning the burn rate is that there's a lot of gold being mined. There's a lot of demand for gold. It's unprecedented, and that is the takeaway message here, I think, on this, even if we're not sure exactly where China stands in terms of its in situ reserves in China. Is there more than this? Could they be up higher than Brazil? I don't know. But they are the fastest producer, and also I'm sure they probably are buying gold from other nations as well. A fascinating report. Speaking of proven gold reserves, I want to talk to you a little bit about Winston Gold Corporation in this sponsored video, who is a company that has transitioned now from a junior mining exploration company to a gold producer. Very exciting indeed. They have begun production of a site called Winston in Montana. And 2.5 years after the CEO of Winston Gold and then Newmont director Joseph Caraba, who had chaired their sustainability committee, had met and devised a plan to put this project into production, the company is finally announcing that as of December of 2020, their mill is now running and processing gold and silver-bearing material. Exciting news indeed. Joseph Caraba, who was the chairman of Winston Gold, left Newmont Mining after having a salary of $300,000 before bonuses to join Winston Gold. And he is one of the most respected executives in the mining sector. With this particular situation just getting started, pulling gold out of the ground, a company like this, it's still a high-risk, high-reward situation, with the company's market cap at $31 million. But the calculated threats to the business have greatly diminished as they are working at a site that was a previous mining area. And so it's proven they've got all the permits and they're ready to go, and they are starting to work diligently now, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. Winston Mining, it is certainly quite a fascinating story here, and how it begun and how Joseph Caraba became the major shareholder with 14% of the outstanding shares, and he has personally invested over $2 million over 3 years ago and not sold a single share. The thesis is that if Winston Gold can be developed into a producer, which it is now, then essentially his time, effort, and money could be significantly rewarded by potential price appreciation. And that is where we are at now, with this news essentially breaking that they are in this realm, in this new phase in development. In his career with Newmont Mining, I believe 9 years he was there, with the world's largest gold producer in the world, was part of the committee that vets and decides on new projects, which is essentially the sustainability committee. So he has a vast amount of experience, and he holds a BA in geology from Capital University in Ohio and an MBA from Frostburg State University in Maryland. It is an opportunity that has arisen now for those potential shareholders and investors out there. What's going to be happening is, starting in mid-February, the company's mill will run 6 days a week, 3 shifts a day for 24 hours for a total of 26 days a month, processing 90 to 120 tons per day of gold, silver bearing materials produced in the company's mine. And that essentially, on a monthly basis, equates to about 2,500 to 3,100 tons of material, judging by previously announced drilling results. Management estimates that grade of this material is 0.25 to 0.3 ounces per ton of gold, which means that the company would be mining 575 ounces of gold with a recovery rate of 92% on the low end. When you equate that out to current metal prices of $1,800 gold estimate to $25 silver estimate, this would result in gross revenues of about $1,093,625. If you look at the company's corporate presentation, management notes that if all warrants and options are exercised, an estimate $27 million Canadian could come into the treasury, while today's market cap is $30.3 million. And so this is exciting, but it certainly does involve further due diligence and research and questions that can be addressed to the company here, Winston Gold Corporation, and you can contact them. Their information is on their website here. You can reach out to them. All of their information is at the bottom of their webpage for emails, phone numbers, for any questions that you may have. And again, this is something that, it's just at the beginning stages of production, and there's still more exploration and work to be done. It's something to consider, considering risks and rewards. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Hope you found this presentation insightful and exciting, interesting about China burning through gold. And here in the United States, in Montana, it looks like we may have more gold to be not only discovered, but actually being mined at this very moment in time. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.